Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second episode of Pigskin Glory Football 50 Years Ago Today. On tonight's episode, we're going to be discussing the dates between October 11th and 20th, 1975. As always, I'm Vinny Vincent, and I am joined by my co-hosts and Chris
Krieger.
And we are going to discuss what football was like in mid-October 1975. As always, please leave your thoughts down in the comments, share, and subscribe for more information. All right, you can follow along daily at Pigskin Glory Football 50 Years Ago Today on Facebook. All right, so I'll go ahead and get into the first story here on October 11th, which is a Friday night. High school football is hot in Boston, but the Red Sox have all the headlines. And if you look at the newspaper, it's talking about destination end zone, but down on the bottom is Boston's Rice named All-Star 2 positions. Obviously, football, especially in 1975, takes a bit of a back seat when the World Series is going on.
His name most.
All right, it's obviously not Boston's Jet Rice. It must be a different Rice.
Yeah.
Rice was a left fielder exclusively.
Okay, who wants to take the next one?
I will. High school football in Virginia. There is a school called the Confederates who whipped the Royals by the.
Can you imagine? I didn't look this up, but I definitely would imagine that they have changed their name since 1975.
I bet you're right.
By the way, that team won. They whipped the Royals.
So the Confederates beat the Kings. How timely. Okay, Charles.
And then you have Dwayne Thomas being released by the World Football League on this October 11th, but due to slow recovery from knee surgery, as well as getting Larry Brown to the number 2 fullback behind Moses Denson with the Redskins. And that meant Mike Thomas or Larry Nelson would start at halfback against St. Louis on Monday night. But then there's Dwayne Thomas released by the WFL Hawaiians on Thursday, which might not be the worst thing in the world given what the WFL is underdoing financially, or more precisely, the lack thereof.
You could say Thomas was released evidently.
How quickly his career has fallen off. Just in 1971, he was scoring touchdowns in the Super Bowl for the Dallas Cowboys, and now he's cut from a league that is in financial trouble and might not make it through the entire season. I know he had some social anxiety issues and whatnot, but that's just crazy that he fell off so quickly, just 4 years.
You know, it's ironic because nowadays we talk about players with...
Because of injuries, knee injuries, shoulder injuries, that kind of that you can't expect, but the Dwayne Thomas had social anxiety.
Yeah.
In 1971, he did not talk to the media for the entire season until after the Super Bowl. We talk about players who talk too much nowadays. Here was a guy who was the opposite. He didn't want to talk. If anything, by today's standards, you know, is that we talk about athletes who talk too much. Back in the day, he talked too little.
North Carolina.
Moving
on, North Carolina will be without their top running back against Notre Dame. From Chapel Hill, James Betterson will not play, as UNC coach Bill Dooley said on Friday. Thigh contusion has sidelined the tailback, and that is a big loss for the Tar Heels going up against Notre Dame.
And he had ran for 100 yards in back-to-back games.
Just crazy.
All right, I'll take this one. Alabama versus Washington. Number 7 ranked Bama blanks the Huskies 52-0 in Tuscaloosa. In a 3-minute stretch, they scored 21 points in 3 minutes, basically buried Washington in a hole they couldn't dig out.
Earlier I had said that October 11th was a Friday. It's a Saturday, actually. So it's 1 p.m. and we're getting into the games. And, of course, he started with Alabama. Bear Bryant, he's a master at what he did. Constantly had Alabama near the top, and 1975 is no exception.
Although they did lose to Missouri on opening day.
Alabama, by the way, was number 7 going into this game. The top seed was the Buckeyes of Ohio State. The Sooners are number 2. Trojans number 3. The Cornhuskers are 4. And then the Texas teams, Tech Longhorns are 5th, and the Aggies of Texas A&M are 6th ranked.
Ohio State moved up to number 1 because Oklahoma had all those close calls. Vinny, you take this one. This is you. Oh, Vinny, this is your team. You take this one.
Okay, I'll take it because it's my team. Georgia, the Georgia Bulldogs versus Ole Miss. Mississippi shocks Georgia 28-13 despite being a 2-touchdown favorite. The heavily favored Bulldogs lost by 2 touchdowns thanks to a whopping 7 turnovers.
Oh!
And Vince Dooley, the head coach at Georgia, says too many mistakes to win, and that's you can't win with those kind of mistakes and effort out of your team. Just not.
I know Georgia was not in the top 20, but you cannot commit 7 turnovers and expect to win.
No.
Imagine that, being a 2-touchdown favorite, and you lose by 2 touchdowns.
Speaking of West Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions in a top 10 matchup, they pummeled West Virginia easily, 39-0. And this West Virginia offense averaged 35 points in 4 games. But today, under 200 yards and 5 turnovers.
Remember,
Joe Paterno's squad.
And remember, this is the same West Virginia team that just a week ago recently they beat Cal with Chuck Muncie. They beat that Cal team, and life comes at you fast.
Something definitely tells me that after this weekend's polls, West Virginia will not be in the top 10.
Ohio State versus Iowa. The top-ranked Buckeyes rolled the Hawkeyes 49-0. Having risen to number 1 after their dominant win in UCLA and Oklahoma's recent shaky outings, Buckeyes looked anything but shaky. Archie Griffin and Pete Johnson, the tag team champions of the rushing world. Heisman winner had 120 yards and...
Oh, guys, played like the 407 unit, the Buckeyes.
Archie Griffin ran for 120 yards. Pete Johnson ran for 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, Iowa definitely is no match for the number 1 team in the nation, and that would tell me that Ohio's going to keep that ranking after this. Nebraska, the number 4 Cornhuskers blanked the Jayhawks 16-0 despite not scoring a touchdown until the 4th quarter. Nebraska's defense allowed only 177 total yards from the Jayhawks in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Sweet 16 for the Cornhuskers. Sour 16 for the Jayhawks.
You take this one, Vinny. This is a big one.
All right, Notre Dame, North Carolina. Notre Dame, number 15th, rallies from 14 down to win 21-14. After the home loss to Michigan State, the Irish appeared to carry a letdown to Chapel Hill as they trailed 14-0 after 3 quarters. But freshman quarterback named Joe Montana rallied Notre Dame late as he led game-tying and winning touchdown drives, including an 80-yard game-winning touchdown pass right after the Tar Heels missed a potential go-ahead field goal. Remember that name, folks, Joe Montana. I think in the next few years you're going to hear it a couple times on this podcast.
Yeah, Joe Montana, a good performance here.
And, of course, Charles, being a 49er fan, is going to enjoy hearing that name for years to come.
That's right.
I at least get it for the next couple as he's in Notre Dame.
Oklahoma versus Texas. The biggest game of the day. Top 5 showdown in the Cotton Bowl. Sooners outlast Texas 24-17. This was a back-and-forth game where basically teams were trading scores, and it would depend on who had the ball last and who had the ball late. It was Oklahoma. Horace Ivory scored the winning touchdown from 33 yards out late in the 4th quarter.
So Oklahoma uses an old Bud Wilkinson play, harking back to their legendary past. Barry Switzer's continuing that legendary lineage as building a winner in Oklahoma, and the Red River Shootout, Red River Rivalry, goes to the Sooners in 1975.
We're going to do it, baby!
Kansas State's upset bets in the same paper.
Yep. There you go, Charles.
And now Once again, 8th-ranked Wolverines against the Spartans. Both teams came in this game with impressive wins. The Wolverines clobbering Missouri, while Sparty shocked the Fighting Irish. And it was the Wolverines that broke up a tight game after 3 quarters. What? 6-6. Not a lot of offense in this game. Well, they outscored the Spartans 10-0 in the fourth quarter. It was a pretty defensive-minded game.
And, of course, Michigan State was the home team in this, as it showed Michigan had to rally to come back in the fourth quarter.
Field goal for a crowd of 79,776.
Bo Schembechler said that he thinks Michigan State is a strong, potent football team. As I said, I didn't see Ohio State dominating them in the films of that game. I don't think we completely dominated them, but we beat them.
This Michigan team is not a great team yet, but we'll improve. You have to improve when you got the young players we've got. It's a fun team to coach.
Yep. We're moving on to the 4 p.m. games now. USC versus Washington State. The number 3 Trojans fight on past the Cougars 28-10 thanks to Ricky Bell's 217 rushing yards. And, of course, you can see the highlights of this game on YouTube. We talked last week about Ricky Bell and my thoughts on him. Just a great running back who, unfortunately, does not have the career that he should have. But in college, he was definitely showcasing his talent. And here against Washington State, the Cougars 217 yards rushing as Ricky rings the bell.
This is his third 200 rushing yard game of the season. In an all-Texas showdown, the number 6 Aggies rout the Red Raiders 38-9. Bubba Bean, listen to this stat line: 9 carries, 180 yards, and a 94-yard touchdown.
The Magic Bean, and this is another game you can see on YouTube if you follow the link from our page.
Can you imagine having only less than 10 carries and close to 200 yards?
It's averaging 20 yards a carry. I mean, that is definitely a stat that will get you some notice in the NFL when he's eligible for drafting. There you go, Charles. We're going to finish up with your school.
Oh, yeah, so my spawn is pulled away from the Long State.
Yes.
Weird, isn't that? But yes, when Long Beach State to 49ers, my spawn's beating 30-7, bouncing back from last week's heartbreak in Berkeley. Thanks to a big play, fumble recovery when the college 49ers was trying to take a late fourth quarter lead, and then an 84-yard punt return and interception that put up that 7-yard touchdown. By the way, the late window games, but game 1 of the World Series already happened. Louis Tion pitched a 5-hitter, 6-0 win over Cincinnati, and the 7th inning was his base hit that started the 6-run rally to win game 1 for Boston.
What a day for El Tiante.
Yep.
Now, starting right off the bat on October 12th, we do have a game to report at 2:30 a.m., but it's from the World Football League as the Hawaiians ring Philly's bell 14-13. After trailing 10-0, Hawaii came back all the way back, remember, without Dwayne Thomas now, thanks to a 41-yard pick six off a deflected pass to cap off an exciting second half. And here in the picture is Philadelphia's Alvin Wyatt, who had played, had played in the NFL, hauls in this long pass for an interception in last night's game. But,
getting rid of Dwayne Thomas. Can you say addition by subtraction?
Yep, it wasn't enough for Philadelphia as the Hawaiians would go on to win. So that's an early start to Philadelphia, or to October 12th. Of course, in Hawaii's time, it was still the 11th when it was played.
By the way, I think we have a guest.
It's Mark.
Well, welcome, Mark. Episode 2.
Just in time for the NFL.
Pigskin Glory podcast. Real quick, before we get into the rest of October 12th. I don't want to give away Mark's age, but he's closer to have been around 1975 than the three of us. And in the next few years, we'll get to a point where he starts remembering games. I'll start remembering games when we're 50 years past 88. But hopefully we're all still around and doing that come 2038. But welcome, Mark.
Thanks, Vinny.
We've just discussed October 11th, which was a Saturday. College football. Your Penn State Nittany Lions had a huge win. Who did they beat again?
They shut out number 10 West Virginia.
West Virginia, yep. All
okay.
Right, so we get into who are we at? I think, Chris, it's your turn.
All right. Houston, Oilers, Browns. Houston bashes Cleveland 40-10. The Browns led 10-3 before the roof caved in. Houston, bouncing off their first loss, 37 unanswered points. Cleveland, an excellent home team for years, has lost 3 straight at home, each by 30-plus points. The salad days of the Browns never losing at Municipal Stadium feels like a distant fading memory.
You know, this
That's a bullshit fading memory.
This is the game where I believe I used Billy White Shoes Johnson punt return in this date and touchdown history.
What do you think of that, Mark? The Browns have not only lost 3 in a row at home, they've lost all 3 by at least 30 points.
It's not the Browns of just a few years back. That's a fact.
Who wants to take this one?
And it's not exactly reminding people of Joe Namath, Broadway Joe in 1969.
Jets.
And the Jets led by 1 in the fourth quarter, but then the Vikings got a safety of a blocked punt. And then Chuck Foreman, who earlier caught 2 touchdown passes from Fran Tarkenton, ran for the clincher, giving him 3 scores in the day, 29-21 mini.
As a Bills fan, this result makes me happy to see the Jets lose. I don't care how good or bad they are. It always makes me happy to see them lose. All right. We'll move up to the next game. The Bears. Detroit routs the Bears 27-7. The Lions bounce back from their Monday night dud versus Dallas by forcing 5 Chicago turnovers in their first win at the Silverdome, and I'm still wondering where and when are we going to see any breakout from that so-called super rookie the Bears have in Walter Payton.
The Bears? More like duh Bears.
Oh, Mark, here you go. This is your team if you want to take this one.
Broncos Steelers, Mark.
I can't see the screen real well.
Okay, well, we'll handle it.
The eyes aren't what they used to be on little stuff like this.
All right, I'll try this one, Mark. Pittsburgh bucks the Broncos 20-9. Denver have been a thorn in the Steelers' side recently. They won at 3 Rivers in 73, and last year they scored 35 points. Not today. Pittsburgh made amends for their home opener dud versus Buffalo thanks to 2 Terry Bradshaw touchdowns.
Mark, if you want to be able to see it better, if you follow along on your phone, you could probably go right to the Pigskin Glory.
I'm on my phone.
I mean, right from the Pigskin Glory Facebook page, and then you're not reading it off the video screen. But just for the future.
Okay.
All right.
Bengals. And there was a game that was not televised as both Boston and Cincinnati were engaged in Game 2 of the World Series. And depending on your perspective, well, either the best of times or the worst of times. Since the Bengals won the football game easily, forcing 3 Patriots turnovers, winning 27-10, and the Reds scoring 2 runs on the top of the line to beat the Red Sox, so 3-2, and the series goes to Riverfront, tied at 1 game apiece.
They were 1 out away from falling down 0-2 for the 3rd time in 6 years.
How about lucky break in scheduling for the NFL to put Cincinnati and New England against each other while the World Series is going on? But can you imagine an NFL game not being televised in our lifetime? And that's the way things have changed. Remember, 1975, there's no cable television is very small. If anything, there's some satellite. HBO exists, but it's just if you don't have the networks to put it on, you don't have it. So baseball
You
trumps.
pretty much have your local channels, and that's about it.
Yeah, and if the local channels are going to show the World Series because it's the home team's playing, then we have an NFL game that doesn't get televised.
I was going to say, this is what, about 4 or 5 years before ESPN came into existence.
1979. So yeah, we're just under 4 years from that. Cowboys.
I'll do this one.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you do this one, Benny. Cowboys at Giants. Dallas gets past Big Blue 13-7. A year ago in Week 3, New York shocked the Cowboys, which ended up keeping them out of the playoffs for the first time since '65. Today, it looked like deja vu because New York had a fourth quarter lead, but Roger Staubach, just as he did in the Silverdome on Monday night, came to the rescue. Their defense forced 5 turnovers, and they got their revenge.
Well, that's why they call him Captain America. I mean, he's always the Captain Comeback as well, and this time he...
Yeah, that's I was going to say, he had a lot of great fourth quarter comebacks.
And it doesn't matter who it is. This time he found Gene Fugett.
And throwing 5 turnovers, and the Cowboys are 4-0.
Yep. Okay, it's Canadian Football League game next. I'll take this. Hamilton versus the BC Lions. The Tiger Cats scratch and claw past the Lions 14-8 to end a 3-game losing skid. Jerry Keeling passed to Terry Evanson for the third quarter for the receiver's 76th career touchdown to lift Hamilton 14-8 over the British Columbia Lions. So in a battle of the cats, it's the Tigers over the Lions 14-8.
We call this a real cat fight.
Yes.
I've never seen this before.
Packers
and the Saints. New Orleans edges Green Bay 20-19. After a dud of a Superdome opener where the Bengals blanked them, New Orleans appeared had a deja vu. Listen to this. They trailed 16-0 thanks to a kickoff return touchdown for the Packers, a fumble return touchdown by the Packers, and a safety. But the Packers offense could only muster a field goal, even with all that return game hell. Saints ran for 223 yards. Saints scored points. They were blank last week. Game-winning field goal, 22 seconds left. First indoor win.
That's a crazy game amongst two teams that you probably won't see battling for a wild card spot. But
real quick, what's the page that I'm on? Make sure I'm following on.
Pigskin Glory, football 50 years ago. It's that green logo.
I see it. Pigskin Glory, 50 years ago. 50 years ago today, I see it. Okay.
Right now we're on October 12th at the 2 p.m. games. Because back then, the NFL didn't have just 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock starts. It was 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 4 o'clock. And a lot of that was because the games in the Central Time Zone still kicked off at 1 o'clock.
And games like this. And this game is an example, the blue laws.
The Colts Maryland had blue laws, which we will discuss. So whenever Baltimore's home, it's never going to be a 1 o'clock start back in this era. Bills versus Colts. Buffalo outscores Baltimore 38-31. The Colts, who had fought valiantly against Oakland and the LA Rams, showed glimpses of offensive brilliance as Lydell Mitchell, former Penn State runner, scored 4 touchdowns, but Baltimore, like others before them, couldn't stop Buffalo's relentless offense. Jim Braxton scored 3 touchdowns. Joe Ferguson threw 2 more, one of them to Braxton, and an incandescent O.J. Simpson ran for just 159 yards. The Colts had leads of 14-0, 21-10, and 28-14, but couldn't hold any of them. But despite a 1-3 record, Baltimore has more than held their own against 3 straight playoff teams from 1974. A rough start to the schedule for them, but the Bills are 4-0, baby.
I don't see the October 12th.
Don't circle the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
And now we go from the circling the wagons to circling the Charlotte. Charlotte stings the Express, 22-15. Star of this game, Ike Thomas. He scored a 92-yard kickoff return touchdown, and he set up another touchdown by recovering a fumble at midfield.
But is this some terrific radiant thing of the game?
Well,
it was a 7-point
a big World Football League game, and I wonder if the kids in Charlotte, North Carolina, liked Ike.
I don't see the October 12th on here, by the way.
Make sure when you're at the top of the page that you have it set up in recent activities, so it puts it in chronological order, because Facebook likes to screw around with your algorithms. And then, and for those watching the video, if you want to follow along and see things chronologically as they happened, right at the top of your feed, you get the chance to go chronological or most recent or popular or some words that they use, but yeah, you have to, otherwise certain stories will get buried, and it would suck if you missed out on a huge day like Sunday with the NFL, CFL, and the World Football League all playing. Charles, you got some
game for the World Series.
Charles, you got some World Football League game.
Yeah, but Canadian football, the Rough Riders, there's barely get past the Blue Bombers.
Manage your content, view page, post.
Black was 99-yard game-winning drive, but they both got to a 4-yard line with second remaining. Let's roar.
They had to go 99 yards, and they went 95 yards.
So another close game in the Canadian Football League. If you were growing up in Canada at the time or had access to CBC or Where I live, CJOH, you might have been able to see that. Eagles and Dolphins. Miami runs past Philadelphia 24-16. The Dolphins had a slim 10-9 halftime lead when Coach Shula reminded his team the same score Washington had led by 1 week ago before ambushing the Skins in the second half. This time the Dolphins didn't allow Philly to repeat history as they ran for 202 yards against a Philly team that had been number one in the NFC rush defense through 3 weeks. So Miami, just because they didn't make their fourth straight Super Bowl and they lost week 1 of the season, they're not gone. Don Shula still got them pumped and playing. They're right behind Buffalo in the standings for the AFC East. This is not a game I would have liked to see them win, that's for sure.
Charles, here's a West Coast game.
Yep, and this one a battle of SoCal, where the Rams edged the Chargers 13-3 in
13-10. 13-10.
in overtime.
13-10. I goofed.
Rams outgained the 0-3 Chargers by about 150 yards, but 4 sacks of James Harris and 2 turnovers kept San Diego going the game. Well, the Rams running for 224 yards, that was really spelled the difference in the Rams' third consecutive triumph.
Los Angeles taking control of the NFC West again. That seems to be the way the 1970s have been going, as New Orleans obviously is never in it. Atlanta's had some early season glimpses, and San Francisco was powerful at the beginning of the decade, but the Rams are definitely the cream of the crop in the NFC West now.
I'll take this one. The Raiders and the Chiefs, Charles, this came right after the World Series game. Kansas City shocks Oakland 42-10. The 3-0 Raiders scored the game's first and last points against the 0-3 Kansas City. But sandwiched in between, the winless Chiefs scored a shocking 42 points in the late Sunday afternoon.
Far cry from Sunday of 2025. You know what the Chiefs did to the Raiders?
Yeah, not only that, but the Raiders 3-0 losing to 0-3. It's happened, but 42-10. I don't think any of the prognosticators of the 70s would have seen that coming.
Falcons, Niners. Who wants to take this one?
That's me, because it's the. Don't you take it, Vinny. It's your team being my squad.
So Atlanta subdued the 49ers 17-3 thanks to a defense that registered 5 turnovers and 6 sacks. And rookie quarterback Steve Bartkowski is confident coming out of this game. And that's the big thing that counts, a rookie with confidence.
On the flip side, Charles, your 49ers built a bakery unto themselves. 5 turnovers and 6 sacks.
Catholic Park with like a ton of the stadium looked more like Alcatraz, right? Official turf and chain link fences. And the baseball team that played in the same park as the Niners were about to come this close to leaving San Francisco.
I was gonna say, wasn't 78 their low point?
No, 75 was the Giants' low point.
Oh, 78 was the low point for the Niners, but not the Giants.
Oh, the Falcons played the Giants. Okay, I thought they were playing.
No, they played the 49ers.
Right.
They played the 49ers. He's talking about the.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't 78 the 49ers low points?
Yes. All right, Shreveport, back to the waffle. The Southern California Sun scorched the Shreveport Steamer 39-30. Say that 5 times fast. WFL leading rusher Anthony Davis had another superlative performance. 25 carries, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 action points.
And of course, an action point in the WFL is. Does anybody know?
Basically, it's you don't kick extra points. You have to basically. It's like a 2-point conversion, but with 1 point.
Gotcha. One of the innovations the WFL was trying to lure fans away from the NFL by. 8 p.m. we got Birmingham versus Memphis. The Vulcans edged Memphis 18-14. This game had a controversial ending as the Southmen appeared to get a winning touchdown on 4th and 13, but the refs ruled that the ball was dropped long time before instant replay. And, of course, the WFL didn't have a TV contract anyway, so not much that the Southmen can do about that except try and rise again. 12-yard pass from Tom Sherman to James Thompson didn't go his way. Nope, that's the wrong game. That's
Memphis may protest the loss, but at this point, it might be all academic.
Has a protest loss ever actually worked?
Not that I know of. Danny White. Okay, here it is. Memphis on the Birmingham 21, 4th and 13. Quarterback Danny White fired a pass to Ed Marshall in the end zone, apparently giving the Southmen a come-from-behind victory, but the referee ruled that Marshall had dropped the ball as he was hit by a swarm of Vulcan defenders, and the pass was incomplete. I'm taking it that the referee felt that Marshall didn't possess the ball long enough. And Memphis coach John McKay said the controversial call at the end of the game was the ball game, and he is also would be in favor of their own execution. John McKay is a name we're definitely going to hear in the NFL starting next year, and so was Danny White for that matter. Well, we still got more WFL games. Who's up?
San Antonio, Portland. The Thunder shake down the Echoes and get past Portland in overtime, 28-25. The Wings actually looked like they were going to take the lead, but the go-ahead action point, which would have put them ahead, was intercepted. Remember, there are no extra points in the waffle.
I know there's only 3,800 fans were on hand for this game in the Beaver State.
Okay.
Another good game that basically nobody saw.
Okay, so before we move on to October 12th, let's go ahead and pause for a second. All right, now we move on to October 13th, Monday. I wonder if this kid from my hometown will make it in the Nationals, and whatever happened to that giant kid a few years back in the Rams uniform, you know that, Andy Reid. This is Tommy Nesbitt, son of Mr. and Mrs. George Nesbitt of the Adirondack area, is Plattsburgh. He is advancing in the punt, pass, and kick. And, of course, what I'm referring to is that video that every time we get near the end of the season seems to surface of a young Andy Reid in a Rams uniform who towered over the other kids. And that was from the 70s.
Or as he was called, Andrew Reid.
Yep. Who's up?
You take this one, Vinny. This is up your alley.
All right. Will the WFL survive? Crucial WFL meeting today in Honolulu. I mean, you would want the league to survive if you could have all your meetings in Hawaii, wouldn't you? But in a weekend interview, Chris Hemmeter said that the options will confront the league's board of governors when it convenes in New York today for 3 days of meetings. So I guess the meetings are actually going to be in New York. But some of the options are eliminate the weak teams and finish the year with fewer teams, or shut down. And that's, a big, you're either going to have, one way or another, there will be teams not finishing 1975. And it's Canadian Thanksgiving, Chris.
Les Alouettes turned back the Argonauts 21-13. That was a typo. 20-13. Montreal's defense played a magnificent game. 5 sacks, 5 takeaways. 2 of those takeaways set up 10 Montreal points.
Les Alouettes.
We Alouettes. Happy Thanksgiving, folks.
As a Toronto fan, this is not be a score I'd like to see, but it is Thanksgiving. And where I grew up, we would get those games on, like I said, CJOH out of Canada. But there's always 2 Thanksgiving games, just like in the NFL at the time. Charles, this one's on the western hemisphere, western side of the country.
That's it. Where the Eskimos beat the Stampeders 21-12. Following crazy about Brock earlier this year, this affair was tame by comparison. But additionally, the Eskimos move back in the first place atop the Canadian Football League West.
Let's take a look at this picture. You got John Helton has made better tackles but a sack as he downs Eskimo quarterback Tom Wilkinson. And the Eskimos, of course, if you're not familiar with the Canadian League, are now the Elks, and they wear a very similar style to the Green Bay Packers.
You could argue they were the Packers of CFL because this was a team who won championships, very Packer-like.
Cardinals versus Redskins. Washington, this is Monday Night Football. Washington beat St. Louis 27-17 on Monday night. The Skins, losing twice to the Cards last year, ended up deciding the NFC East. This year, Washington got payback right after a Terry Metcalf 93-yard kickoff return, Washington struck back on special teams with, of all things, a fake field goal as Joe Theismann, the backup quarterback and former Notre Dame Fighting Irish quarterback, also former Toronto Argonaut quarterback, got up from the holder position and threw a touchdown to, of all people, a linebacker. And let's see if I can get the linebacker's name. I know it because it's not one that you recognize, that's for sure.
Rusty Tillman.
Rusty Tillman? Are you sure that's...
It says Washington. Yeah. Oh, no, it says John Pergine.
John Pergine. Okay, yep. So, and that was featured as the touchdown for 1975 on Facebook at this date in touchdown history. And starting with the next week's stuff, we'll have those videos connected to this game again.
And then you're going to love this. It was called the Notre Dame Special in the headline.
And now Tuesday, nice. October 14th, we have new cover photo, and this one is
actually that was not the photo because I accidentally did the previous week, so I ended up having to replace that one. I couldn't delete it because we had just done Dallas Detroit, so the next photo is the one I did use.
Young San Diego Charger quarterback Dan Fouts trying to stay up top as the Rams are rushing him.
Jack Youngblood.
Today's Tuesday. After the podcast, we should change the cover photo, by the way. So, Tuesday, October 14th, it appears the WFL is on the verge of collapse. Again, we had talked about their meeting. Time is running out for the 10 teams, and on the 14th, that's where we stand right now, is still uncertainty as the owners are meeting in New York City to determine the fate of their league.
Why exactly did they start the league up in the first place?
Hey, people get greedy. You think about in the hockey, you got the WFA. In basketball, the ABA is going. The success of the American Football League in the 60s, people think that they can just get into pro sports and it'd be a gold mine because it's worked out.
I was going to say, could it have been... Did they ever consider that to be a developmental league for the NFL?
No, not that I know of.
Honestly, I think you would have had a better chance of making the NFL out of Canada, honestly.
Yeah.
C.H.O. Theismann.
Big Ten Player of the Week is a Wisconsin Badger. Linebacker Dennis Stechko of Wisconsin has been named the Big Ten's Defensive Player of the Week. He's 5'11", 209-pound sophomore.
23 tackles, and ironically, he forced a fumble against future New York Jet, Scott Durkee.
It's a little blurry, but there's the new top 10 poll. As
Buckeyes are number 1, Oklahoma's number 2, Troy 3. The Cornhuskers are now number 4. Texas A&M is still 5. The 5, and the Longhorns dropped to 8, but they lost Oklahoma on the Red River Shootout. And Wolverines went
against Stanford and Baylor. Not exactly juggernauts.
Meanwhile, just looking at this, I see Notre Dame is up to 15th after their comeback win over North Carolina, so that's positive. Penn State ranked is number 8.
Penn State's ranked 8th. Those are the good old days.
They actually beat Northwestern.
The WFL. Now we move on to Wednesday, and guess what? The World Football League will continue. It will continue playing in 1975 as Hemmeters released a statement on Tuesday at the conclusion of a 2-day Board of Governors meeting in which he said new and innovative marketing plans have been placed in effect should ensure the attendance increase and continuation to firm up the stability of our league. So there will be a Week 13 coming up. I mean, it's so close.
On Tuesday night in Cincinnati, the Red Sox came back from 5-1 down with 3 homers to tie the game in the 9th inning. But a controversial bunt that made Ed Armbrister a household name to Red Sox fans led to Joe Morgan knocking home the Red 2-1 the series.
All right, I'll take this article. Vinny, remember last week when you mentioned the Virgil Carter after the Bengals cut him loose?
Yep.
Well, he found a new home.
I see that.
He's gone from the Bengals to the Bears. From the Bengals to the Bears.
And the Chiefs and Patriots also making some moves. No names that are recognizable off the top of my mind, but the Chiefs have signed guard Lee Winfield. The Bears released linebacker Jimmy Gunn, and the Patriots have signed linebacker Maury Damkroger and placed
Ari Damkroger.
Linebacker Rod Schultz on injured reserve. Okay, we got a Wednesday game here on October 15th. Is it Wednesday? Yes.
Yes.
Yep. BC Lions against Ottawa.
The Lions tamed the Rough. No, you do it, Benny.
Okay, the Lions tamed the Rough Riders 25-15. First place Ottawa just flat out didn't show up, trailing 18-0 at halftime. A game like this could end up costing them the bye and having to play an Eastern semi. Now, I'm no fan of the BC Lions, but I'm definitely no fan of the city of Ottawa when it comes to the Canadian Football League, as they are always in the same conference with Toronto, and of course in hockey, nowadays the Senators play in the same division as the Sabres, so it does not pain me at all to see Ottawa lose.
Charles, Joe Namath isn't afraid of the Miami Dolphins pass rush. Just jot that down.
Yeah, and also in game 4 of the World Series, the Reds were up 2-0 early, then the Boston scored 5 on the top of the fourth, and Louis Tion threw 163 pitches to beat the Reds 5-4. Can you imagine anybody throwing that many pitches today?
Back to
imagine anybody trying to throw 90 pitches today.
Back to Joe Namath real quick. I mean, he's not afraid to use his mouth either, as it is. It's just been 7 years since his infamous guarantee that paid off, but we'll see how that one pays off if he's talking about.
Beyond that, how often did his mouth back up his actions? Very, very, I don't think ever again. That was a one-time exception.
Yep. Florida High
If
School
you're gonna hit once, it might as well hit the big one.
Florida High School report: Palmetto thrives with odd couple at quarterback. Tom Foley can throw the football with either hand. He's ambidextrous. And they also have Bill Shatlock. Not Tom Foley. The name kind of sounds familiar. Like maybe he had some college success, but again, it's Florida. I randomly will pick different states to do high school reports on during the week. So. But we also it's Thursday, October 16th, and we're talking Florida Gators, and they are getting ready for Florida State by the looks of it.
Florida's offense, it's all the family. Yeah, those were the days.
By the way, back when Florida State took place in October, not at the end of the year.
So if it's all in the family, who's the meathead?
Those were the days.
Back to the punt, pass, and kick from the Adirondacks. Remember, I had mentioned this earlier. Thomas Nesbitt, age 8, won here in Plattsburgh, and Robert Pariah, 9, also eclipsed the field in both North Country competitions, and they will head to Syracuse on Saturday, October 18th, and I'm sorry, I don't believe I saw any follow-up, as the weekend paper that publishes that did not have anything on the weekends and nothing listed on the 20th when we get to it, so if you guys are out there listening, you're now in your late 50s, comment and let us know how you did in the Syracuse Regionals. October 17th is Friday. Who wants to take this preview?
Oh, Game 5 World Series.
And that one, Tony Perez had 2 home runs, and Don Gullett pitched in the 9th inning. The Reds win 6-2. They're now 1 win away from their first world title in 35 years.
Steelers prepare to face the Chicago Bears.
Terry Bradshaw silenced his critics as the Steelers prepare to face the Bears. You remember, Terry Bradshaw had a very shaky beginning to his career. Also had some quarterback controversies with Jefferson Street Joe Gillum. But by 75, it looks like he is firmly entrenched as the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he is a Super Bowl champion as well. Houston Oilers are working out the former linebacker Ralph Cindrich on Wednesday. He had been traded to Denver last year, but after not hanging on with the Broncos and the Oilers losing Benson to a broken collarbone, they're now looking for a new linebacker down in Houston. And a little preview of college football as well. The Sooners, Oklahoma, is favored to beat Kansas by 27.
Kansas State, not Kansas.
Well, the newspaper left that part out, but yeah. Barry Switzer's got his team rolling. Remember, during our first episode, there had been a news story where he had talked about they were slipping. They weren't as good as they used to be, and now they're favored by 27 just about 10 days later.
For those of you viewers that are listening in New York, October 17 was also the day when the city came this close to going into default. You remember City? We had ninjas of devastating that put them on the brink of bankruptcy, but their default was averted practically at the 11th hour at 2 p.m. on local time on Friday afternoon, an hour before the banks were due to close in those days.
That's crazy. I did not know about that. That is financial stress in the 1970s. Who wants to take a look at the NFL transactions for this Friday?
I'll do this one. Packers sign and waive a punter. Rams activate defensive back, but they lose a defensive back to injury. Patriots sign former Kansas City Chief Elmo Wright and suspended a defensive tackle. Saints activate a center, lose a quarterback. Giants sign linebacker Jimmy, not Billy Gunn. Eagles, let's see. They signed an offensive guard, a defensive tackle, a return specialist, but they released a defensive tackle and another return specialist, and they placed an offensive lineman on the injured reserve list.
And if you're not down with the Giants' new linebacker, he's got 2 words for you. Move along.
Suck it.
So, as I said in episode 1, we will talk about the unfortunate news. George Mundy passed away on this Friday on October 17th. He had played tackle and guard for the Cleveland Indians in 1931, the New York Giants from 1931 to 32, the Cincinnati Reds from 33 to 34. Yes, those are all football teams, and the St. Louis Gunners in 1934. And he was 68 years old when he passed away down in Miami, Florida.
I know you were earlier wondering, in the early days of 2030s, most of the NFL teams had the same name as baseball teams. Why that in those days is anybody.
And now in the 70s, the only city that has the same names for their teams is the St. Louis Cardinals.
Right.
Chris, you want to do the college game for Friday night?
Yes. The Miami Hurricanes beat the Houston Cougars 24-20. Miami into this game 0-4, but they've had to play Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Colorado out of the gate. Playing teams of that caliber helped out when they finally faced a lesser opponent, although they needed a late touchdown with 30 seconds left to get off the schneid.
Football tonight. This would be the local high school action. Lincoln Northeast hosting Hastings. But yeah, Miami gets their first win over the Cougars. That should move us into... Yes.
Miami-Houston. You think we'll ever see that matchup again at the Orange Bowl?
Let's move into Saturday morning. And before we get going on the college action...
These are actually the same transactions I already did. This is actually a copy. It's the same one already.
Yeah, we can move on. Oh, we have here a touchdown.
And again, Saturday, you're not going to see me be doing recap of Game 6 because, well, Northeastern has wreaked havoc on Fenway Park. Game 6 postponed, so on the football.
What you're seeing here is North Carolina scoring on a 1-yard run by Voigt.
Yes.
But the Tar Heels go on to lose to the Wolfpack of North Carolina State 21-20 because after this touchdown they failed to convert, going for 2. And this video can be found at this date in touchdown history for October 18th, 1975.
Hey, what a concept! North Carolina actually winning a football game.
No, they didn't. North Carolina State won.
Oh, North Carolina losing a football game. We've seen that before.
State, who coaches that team?
Vinny, you're the SEC guy.
Back then? I don't know.
No, SEC football guy, so you can do this one.
Oh, okay. Alabama versus Tennessee. The number 6th ranked Crimson Tide mauls 16th ranked Volunteers 30-7. The Tide, despite playing a road game, looked just as dominant as they had last week versus Washington. Even with 4 fumbles, they outrushed Tennessee 318-12. Imagine if they actually had ball security. 318-12. That is crazy.
He always does.
306-yard disparity. Yeah. Mark, you can do. Mark, you want to do this one if you can see?
Penn State Nets close 19-7 win. That's all I can say. I can see the big one. I can't see the little print.
They beat stubborn Syracuse. The game was actually a close game at halftime, but Dave Stutz, he scored 2 touchdowns. You're going to love this one, Mark. He scored off a fake field goal.
So,
wow.
Again, living in upstate New York, my father-in-law is a Syracuse fan. He would have been about 20 years old at this time. He was in the Marines, so I don't know if he would have been able to follow along, but he definitely would have been disappointed with this outcome.
They didn't get covered show on the Armed Forces Radio Network.
Maybe.
I'll do this one. Northwestern Michigan. Number 7 Michigan obliterates Northwestern 69-0. Nice. After what the Wolverines did to a top 5 Missouri against lowly Northwestern, what did you really think was going to happen? How about 500? You thought the 316 yards by Alabama was impressive? 573 rushing yards. The most lopsided Michigan win since 1947.
69-0. Jeez.
That's nothing. They will go 4 years without winning a game.
My Georgia Bulldogs defeat Vanderbilt 47-3. Last week, Georgia had turnover trouble against Ole Miss, but this week they turned the tables and they scored 4 touchdowns off turnovers. Vandy as a whole had 6 turnovers, and if you look at the scoring summary, Vanderbilt scored first when Adams hit a 21-yard field goal, and then they didn't score again. And Georgia didn't have, they had a 36-yard run in the second quarter, but other than that, it was just persistent, consistent drives down the field to defeat the Commodores.
Oh, yeah, Vanderbilt was Vanderbilt back then.
Actually, Vandy was 3-2 going into this game.
I know this reference is a little ahead of its time, but while Vanderbilt was the Commodores, Georgia was playing Atari 2600.
So was Alabama playing Commodore?
Well, I'm saying Commodore wasn't as good as Atari, so.
Oh, so I guess Alabama was playing Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nebraska lassos the Cowboys 28-20. Oklahoma State actually canceled out the running game. Nebraska ran for 254. Oklahoma State had 249, and they got 3 touchdowns from future Buffalo Bill, Vinny, Terry Miller. But Vince Ferragamo threw. But Cowboys had 2 fumbles. Vince Ferragamo ran for 2 touchdowns and threw for 2 touchdowns, just like Bo Nix in the fourth quarter.
Hey, well, Vince Ferragamo, we know in 4 years we'll be talking about him going to Super Bowl, but in 10 years he's a future Buffalo Bill as well.
Terry Miller. And 1985. Sure. By the way, Vinny, Terry Miller, he also was a future Bill.
Yep.
Vinny, you can do this one.
Ohio State, Wisconsin, the Buckeyes maul the Badgers 56-0. 7 different Ohio State players scored touchdowns. And when we look at the scoring summary...
Oh, not going like that.
Looking at the scoring summary, you see Pete Johnson had 2 of them. Archie Griffin, the Heisman Trophy winner, had 1. So what?
He ran for 107 yards. Oh, and he ran for 107 yards. Death, taxes, and Archie Griffin rushing for 100 yards in the Big Ten.
Definitely not happy days for the Badgers in this one.
Pete Johnson had 98 yards rushing, so, I mean, they almost had 2 100-yard rushers. Wisconsin just did not stand a chance at Columbus.
It's like last week in 2025.
Well, how did that 27-point favorite go, Charles?
See, Oklahoma beat Kansas State 25-3. You gotta click on see more. There you go. Despite 2 first-quarter touchdowns, this is what got the rest of their points via 3 field goals and the safety. Still in the big game, isn't it?
So they were 25-27.
3.
They didn't cover. Kansas State at least beat the spread, but still, 25-3 is a dominating loss, however you look at it. And looking at the scoring summary, you had Ivory, Hicks, and Harris. Oh, Harris got a safety. Just 2 touchdowns from Oklahoma. That's it.
Horace Ivory, future New England Patriot.
Not surprised that Oklahoma has a future NFL running back on their team. They always seem to have future NFL running backs.
Oh, they've got 2 future New England. Oh, wait, never mind. Colts, Patriots. All right. Big 8. I'll do this one. Number 12, Colorado beats number 10, Missouri. I forgot the score. Both teams came into this game off tough losses. Missouri got mauled in Michigan. Colorado, as you know, missed the extra point when they should have gone for 2 against Oklahoma. Tigers jumped out to an early 17-3. They look like what they're going. But in 1 minute, The Buffaloes forced 2 turnovers, turned 2 touchdowns. Colorado scored after half. They had 3 points in the first half, 4 touchdowns in the second half.
Yeah.
Just Colorado keeps finding ways to win. They'll definitely move up in the polls after this, and I bet Ole Mizzou will be moving down. Battle of Texas. Now, I had a roommate in college who was a huge A&M fan, so I'm going to go ahead and give this one for my old buddy Tex. Number 5, excuse me. Number 5 A&M beats TCU 14-6 as old Bubba Bean scored 2 touchdowns. But the Aggies offense did nothing after half. In fact, the Horned Frogs actually had a chance to tie the game late, but a touchdown with under 2 minutes remaining was nullified by offsetting penalties. And the Horned Frogs, whatever that is, goes down.
Right. If penalties are offsetting, I know, of course, penalty can nullify a touchdown, but I thought if penalties offset...
You replay the down. But
never mind.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, trailing by 20 in the fourth quarter, Joe Montana had a Notre Dame comeback on Air Force with a 3-yard keeper on the option, and the Irish were going to win 31-30.
And this is
maybe there is Joe Montana guy.
This was a situation where I chose 2 touchdowns from this day to show at this date in touchdown history because the Notre Dame comeback. This is one of the first radio broadcasts I ever purchased on the internet. Was this 1975 comeback of Notre Dame versus Air Force, and now seeing the YouTube video where it's put together with a coach's film just brings it all together and shows just what a great comeback this was. Because Air Force, they built a huge.
Remember, this is the same Air Force that tied UCLA.
And we'll get to a separate individual post on that. That was just the here it is. That was just the touchdown of the day. The Irish shock the Falcons 31-30. Now, Joe Montana is going to know about beating the Falcons, trust me. Notre Dame seemed to have the Spartan hangover as they fell behind 31-10. That'd be 2 weeks after that Spartan game. This would have been a Tar Heel hangover. An Air Force team only a few weeks ago removed from a tie with UCLA, but Joe Montana came off the bench again. The hero at NC last week led a staggering fourth quarter comeback once again for a 31-30 victory.
Is he a freshman at Notre Dame in 75?
Yeah, he's a freshman.
I thought.
And he's not
Texas.
starting. He's coming off the bench each week to bail them.
I say, what was he, 2 or 3 on the depth chart?
He was at least second at this point.
Yeah, a bit, because if he's coming off the bench, he's not the starter, but he wasn't real low on the depth chart either.
Right.
All right, so we go from the South. So we go from the game in the Southeast to the Southwest Conference. Number 8 Texas beats number 20 Arkansas 24-18. The Longhorns, fueled by 135 rushing yards from Wishbone quarterback Marty Akins, bounced back from their Oklahoma loss, and they are 2-0 in the Southwest Conference. Remember that?
Yeah, gig 'em Longhorns if you're a Texas fan. If you're an Arkansas fan, well, better luck next time. Charles, we got a West Coast game going on between USC and Oregon at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Page. But that says the Daffy Ducks are 17-3. Southern routinely Glendale for Ricky Bell, 26 carries for 28 yards and a touchdown. They were the third closing running back to have a 1,000-yard season. We 17 points against the Daffy Ducks.
Now,
Not exactly this season, but win's a win.
Shaky outings. They struggled against Purdue, struggled early against Iowa, struggling against Oregon. They got to go to Notre Dame. This may be a Dean. Are the Trojans playing with fire?
But I'll say this. If Ricky Bell can have a great day against Notre Dame and continue having even and shaky games, he should be in consideration for the 1975 Heisman.
Well, Archie Griffin won it last year. He sure is. Well, and so that eliminates him this year.
Well, let's go up to Calgary, and we're going to talk about a Western game between the BC Lions and the Calgary Stampeders. The Lions take down the Stampeders 25-23. Calgary became the first CFL team to be eliminated from playoff contention. And now that the Stampeders are basically done, tune into Stampede Wrestling to get your entertainment up in Calgary. It also marked their 4th straight season with no postseason play since their Grey Cup appearance in 1971 and win. That was.
And remember, Vinny, as you know, Vinny, and let's be honest, Vinny, they got that lucky fumble, and it feels like, they made a deal. Did they sell their soul for that fumble in the Grey Cup?
I don't know, but Chris, we got some. Remember, the World Football League is continuing. So what's going on in Philadelphia?
Bell ring the Hornets 18-10. Claude Watts showed that last week's big game was no fluke. Remember, he ran wild in that high-scoring game. He had 136 rushing yards and a touchdown, so he wasn't a one-week wonder.
Bob Davis plunging over for the first score after culminating an 80-yard, 11-play drive for the Bell. Charles, it's 10:30 p.m. on the East Coast, and your college is playing.
It's 3 against Pacific, and my Thames, the Tigers, 41-13. Now, how do I lost the Bears? Rich King, that's how. In front of the largest home crowd response game in 20 years, he had 30 carries for 196 yards and 2 touchdowns.
It's gotta be Kane. It's gotta be Rich Kane.
Rich Kane running like a big not red machine.
No,
the college football game in Cincinnati probably should not have been played in a driving lane. I'm not sure we watched that game with a previous watch party, but there were a lot of turnovers in that game.
Are you talking about that Arkansas State fiasco?
That's correct, Chris.
Vinny, you take this one. Remember what I said about Joe Namath calling out the Miami pass rush? Just remember that when you read this.
So it's Sunday now, and the 1 o'clock games are going to take us first to the New York, and where are they playing now in 75? Is it still in Shea Stadium?
Shea Stadium.
Miami Mauls gangrene 43-0. The Dolphins have been kicking ass and taking names since their Monday Night Football loss today. About 261 yards rushing, and they intercepted Namath 8 times. I don't know if it was all Namath, but meanwhile...
Actually, Namath was picked off 6 times. 2 of them were against the backup. But remember what I said? Remember, Vinny, you read that thing about Namath and the Dolphins?
Sure, the Ghosts came out of the past to terrorize the New York Jets. The Miami Dolphins of 1972 and 73 returned in their World Championship form to overwhelm the Jets 43-0.
43-0, and
white-shirted Ghosts.
And by the way, Vinny, now also this
game, by the way.
With his worst defeat ever. By the end of the game, the Jets were in worse shape.
He will play one more season with the Jets in '76, and then he will finish his career with the Los Angeles cup of coffee with the '77 Rams.
That's I did not know.
I was gonna say, just like Unitas, I think finished his career with the Chargers.
Or Tony Dorsett with the Broncos. All right, you take this one, Mark, since this is one of your teams.
Again, you guys are realizing.
Pittsburgh clobbers Chicago 34-3. Now, the Steel Curtain had no sacks. They had only 1 turnover. And the Bears, believe it or not, had more rushing yards without Walter Payton. But the Steelers had no turnovers, and they made their runs count as they ran for 4 touchdowns. And not only did Chicago outrush them, but Walter Payton did not play in this game.
Was he injured?
Yeah. It'll be the only game he ends up not playing his entire career.
4 times.
Oh, wow.
For touchdown.
Steel
Curtain and Franco Harris combined to crush the
Bears
Bears 34-3. Stop.
Penn State Nittany Lion.
I know NBC would carry all those games because rain postponed the Red Sox game 6 for the 2nd straight day.
I was gonna say, do you think a Walter Payton playing would have kept the score a little closer?
He hasn't really done much as a rookie so far, so I'm not sure.
Weird game. I mean, again, they had only 1 turnover. They had more. Vinny, this is your division.
All right, the Colts and Patriots. New England beats Baltimore 21-10. While most of New England is waiting for the rain-delayed World Series to resume, their football team finally got off the schneid. In a battle of 1 and 3 teams that had a combined 5 turnovers and 11 sacks, New England's 241 yards rushing were the big difference. And speaking of New England's rushing, this date in touchdown history shared 1 touchdown from this game, and it is
Baltimore's linebackers. But the Patriots quarterback Jim Plunkett
is this the Andy Johnson 66-yarder
to Andy Johnson, who outraced the Colts to the sideline and dashed upfield for 60.
And remember, Charles, everyone in Boston was able to watch this game.
Right, because the rain postponed the game again.
Colts are 1-4, Vinny. They couldn't beat the good teams, and they couldn't even beat the bad teams.
No, they need to definitely find a way to turn it around. Now we go up north, Chris, for a game in Toronto.
Toronto versus Montreal. The Argonauts, actually, I need you to click on that. The Argonauts shocked the Alouettes. Listen to this score, 18-11. Toronto Montreal, knowing Ottawa had not only lost a running back to injury, but had come off that dud against the Lions, blew a chance to take advantage the East. Laid an egg against the worst offense in the Canadian Football League. They still had a chance to tie, but Johnny the Jet Rogers, last play of regulation, stopped at the 1.
They had just played. They had just played on Thanksgiving Day, Monday, Canadian Thanksgiving Day, Columbus Day in America. 6 days later, they meet again. Montreal was able to beat them both times, but Toronto played a much better game this time.
No, Toronto actually won the rematch.
Oh, they did. So they play. I'm sorry.
I said Montreal. Remember, Montreal knew Ottawa had laid an egg. They had a chance to take advantage. Not only do they lose, Johnny Rogers stopped at the 1.
Charles, what's going on with the battle between the Eagles and Cardinals? 2 p.m. start.
Well, St. Louis got past 31-20, and Eagles won the turnover battle just as they did last week in their upset win of the Redskins. But St. Louis is 278 rushing yards, the difference.
Now, this date in touchdown history's got a couple touchdowns from this game to show you. One from each team.
Poor execution, fumbles, and...
What do you think of those Eagle jerseys? Because, they're not the, this was before the Kelly Green one and before the Jaworski uniform. These are the forgotten Eagle uniforms.
The Eagles were destined to learn a sputtering 2-touchdown offense would offer little contest to the consistent and balanced offensive machine that St. Louis Cardinal quarterback Jim Hart directed last. Jim Hart squeezed up a 6.
When did Jaws take over that team? Next year?
No, he's
Vermeil took
right now, so.
The 13-year veteran made his only.
Vermeil took over in 76.
Yeah, that's
this touchdown here is Jim Hart
Jackie Smith in the Eagle end zone.
And Jackie Smith of this catch has got to be the healthiest man in America.
Wow, Jackie. Hey, look, Jackie Smith not dropping a touchdown.
Well, Jackie Smith had sure hands all the way up to the last game of his career.
They
actually invited him back for 79. He turned it down.
He made the Hall of Fame basically as a Cardinal. Houston surprises Washington 13-10. 1972, Redskins made the Super Bowl. Oilers 1-13. But in just 3 years, the gap is closed big time. Washington lost the turnover battle 3-1. They had a short week letdown after their Monday night win over St. Louis, unlike the Cardinals, who we just saw.
And from this game, we have the game-winning touchdown. Actually, in this game, Don Hardiman scored 2 one-yard touchdowns. So it's your guess as good as mine if NFL films which one they used for the highlights.
Welcome the fourth quarter with his second touchdown. And the Oilers led for the first time 13-10.
This is what the Oilers rushing. This is the Oilers rushing game before Earl Campbell. Remember, they're 4-1. They won 2 games combined. They won 4 games combined in 72 and 73.
And they won that time before the World Series is going to end.
Vinny, I think you're going to like this one.
Charles, something tells me there's a huge upset down in Big D.
My dad's not going to like this. The Packers stunned Dallas 19-17, but there it is. The Packers trailed Dallas 17-9 3/4, but the Cowboys turned them over 4 times, and Buffalo and John Haiti turned back the clock on the way to the biggest upset yet.
Let's take a look at the game-winning touchdown pass, John Hadel to Rich McGeorge. And this is actual broadcast footage.
Packers came fourth. Well, this touchdown, you were watching John Hadel was a sick Packer moment. I guess this is why the Packers traded all those draft picks to get him for.
Yep.
To get 1 win.
John Hadel.
The guy who used to be good.
The last quarterback in the NFL so far to wear a number above 20. Actually, no, that's not true. Yeah, above 20, because Doug Flutie will wear... Did he wear 20 when he was with the Patriots or Bears, or just 2?
No, he wore number 2. So he wore number 7 in Buffalo.
John
As you know, he
Hadel
wore
is the last quarterback to wear an NFL jersey number above 20. Chris,
Memphis Birmingham. This is a rematch from the controversial ending.
The Vulcans blanked.
Vinny, you take this.
The Vulcans blanked the Southmen 21-0. Birmingham's defense showed up and showed out, holding the WFL showcase team to a goose egg. So, Vulcans long live and prosper in this game.
And I know you had to like this one, Vinny, given how you feel about Zonka, Kick, and Warfield with the Dolphins.
And they are the Memphis Southmen's trio. Chris, not the
San
only,
Antonio.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shreve, I'll take this one. The Steamer clipped the Wings 41-31. Shreveport intercepted 5 passes, and they scored all 5 times off their turnovers. They scored 5 times off turnovers. They jumped out to a 41-8 lead before some garbage time scoring.
3:30 p.m. We're up in Canada. Charles, how's the action looking between Ottawa and Winnipeg?
Well, look by the Blue Birds that you're not going to like this. Like kissing your sister, fit to be tied 25 apiece. Tom Clements was intercepted 5 times in Ottawa. Lost the running back to injury. And a wide receiver get up for a kick. Ouch. But somehow Ottawa found a way to avoid a loss. Ekebal and Montreal losing to Toronto. A game they didn't win might not feel like a win, but it just settles in the East.
Does anybody want to win the CFL Eastern Division title?
I don't know, but I'm hoping that Ottawa continues to stumble. Although I think the alternative is Montreal, so I don't think it's much better for this Argonaut fan. Back in the NFL with some 4 p.m. kickoffs, the Kansas City Chiefs beat San Diego 12-10. The Chiefs won this game on the strength of 5 sacks and a 60-yard touchdown pass by none other than Walter White. No, not the guy from Breaking Bad fame.
I guess you could say it was the
On offense, Kansas City was almost as lifeless as San Diego. This play-action pass from Mike Livingston to rookie.
I guess you could say, Charles, that the only thing missing from this touchdown was the Savannah Banana uniforms.
Maybe.
And give Kansas City their.
He's wide open.
And remember, the Chiefs, after last week's upset of the Raiders, have now won 2 in a row after starting 0-3.
They're back in it somehow.
Charles, your Bay Area Oakland Raiders team is playing the Bengals this week. How's that game going?
Well, you click on see more first of all. There we go. And the Bengals beat them 14-10. 46-degree day in Queen City. Still waiting for the game 6 to resume. Used a pick 6 to come out on top of a sloppy game that had combined 9 turnovers. But still better than the Cincinnati Arkansas college game the night before. It was even worse win.
At least in this game, there was good lighting.
Now let's take a look at the Raiders' faux pas in this game.
Bengal cornerback Ken Riley had been shaken up, and Ken Staber went right for the jugular of his rookie replacement, Marvin Cobb, number 24.
3 years ago, Oakland won at Riverfront Stadium when it mattered most. Today, not so much.
Marvin Cobb weaving in and out of the Raiders' commitment to watching him return the interception for touchdown.
Marvin Cobb's first play as an NFL pass.
No, he did on that day, that's for sure. Okay, the Falcons and the Rams. I don't know. I'll give this one, but I don't like it. The LA grounds Atlanta 22-7. The 12-point favorite Rams looked like a 12-point favorite. 218 yards rushing and 6 takeaways from rookie quarterback Steve Bartkowski and company, and featuring this touchdown.
Quarterback James Harris threw for 2 touchdowns.
James Harris to Bob Klein.
Bob Klein ran unmolested through the Falcons secondary for 1 score.
Remember, the Falcons have never won in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that continues. They are now 10 seasons in to their career, their franchise history.
Yeah, just that.
All right, Charles, let's see what's going on.
She said it to me.
Niners. I get in Jazz City, New Orleans.
No, it's in San Francisco. No, it's
Townsend. Well, Saints got 2 defensive touchdowns and forced 5 turnovers. We had 5 turnovers, but they had 5 turnovers of their own and gave us 3 touchdowns to Norm Snead. And Niners won a turnover bakery-filled game.
How about this, Mark? So, Mark, you missed. We have a game with 9 turnovers and 10 turnovers.
In case you weren't paying,
Sorry, I had to brush my teeth getting ready for work.
This day in this date in touchdown history featured 24 hours of touchdowns. featuring the 1975 season, and I have 6 touchdowns from this game alone.
The quest for consistency was proving bitterly elusive to New Orleans head coach John North.
Can I step away for
Number
a second?
13, Larry Tsippa's pass to number 27, Rod McNeil, was the Saints' only offensive score, and it came irrelevantly in the game's last 30 seconds.
So that was the last touchdown of the game. I guess they went going upwards.
The 49er quarterback Norm Snead's fiscal hot hand in the first half. In one 55-second period, number 16 completed 2 scoring strikes, both targeted for wide receiver number 18, Gene Washington.
And it's not even Jim Plunkett.
Nope. That's the first one. Obviously, the second one I showed because I accidentally showed them out of order. But this is Snead's second touchdown pass to Washington.
Here's how I found the Bible.
Gets both feet down.
Oh, that book? Yeah.
Number 24, Del Williams.
Delvin Williams, and take a look at this cutback. Reversing his field. And the Saints just did not have the pursuit as Williams breaks free. And this
Number
is a
24's improvisation added yet another touchdown to San Francisco's tab, and it gained that.
This is now in 1975, a game with 66 combined points was pretty rare.
Or Tom.
The fourth touchdown, giving the 49ers a 28-0 lead, is to tight end Tom Mitchell. As he goes...
Well, that's the 7-11 for 5:30
60 yards on that touchdown. And the last touchdown will show
15 points on the board.
From the game.
7 of which.
This one is a fumble by Tom Myers. Or I'm sorry, Tom Myers picks up the fumble and takes it in, and that's how the Saints got their first touchdown of the day.
7.
Who's San Fran playing?
New Orleans.
Saints.
The Saints.
Remember, the Saints got their first win last week, but they're outdoors.
Vikings and Lions.
Minnesota skulls Detroit 25-19. Do not be fooled by the score. It was 25-3 after 3 quarters until the Lions tacked on garbage time scoring.
Garbage times.
And let's see what we got from this game for touchdown. We have 1.
Ooh, Fran
Tarkenton with a nice arc to Stu Voigt, who gets into the end zone.
Voigt was adroit in the end zone. And by the way, stop me if you've heard this before. The Lions lose to Minnesota.
All right, now, Mark, you're not. You're gonna like this one. Denver beats Cleveland.
Mark, I know you can't read this. I'll let Vinny read this one.
Denver beats Cleveland 16-15. The Broncos kicked 3 field goals to Cleveland's 5, but Denver accounted for the game's only touchdown to overcome 6 turnovers. And sadly, the highlight film does not show John Keyworth's touchdown, but he was the key to victory for the Denver Broncos that day.
By the way, Mark, stop me if you've heard this before. The Browns blow a late lead at fourth quarter lead in Mile High.
Charles, out west in Saskatchewan, in Regina, Saskatchewan, we got another Canadian battle.
6:27. Edmonton had a chance to clinch the first in the West, and they got a bye. But Saskatchewan had other thoughts. Warren Lancaster with 3 touchdowns. Edmonton turned the ball over 3 times, and George Reed had another 100-yard game. The Wolf Flyers did lead by 1 with 1 game to play, though Edmonton has a game in hand and still control their fate.
By the way, I want to mention that is the same Ron Lancaster who was the quarterback coach for the Packers.
Jacksonville and Portland in the World Football League. The Thunder storms past the Express 30-13. Portland made the game's 2 biggest plays by scoring touchdowns on both a punt return and a fake field goal. They must have been watching the Monday night game between the Redskins and Cardinals last week as they pulled off their own fake field goal. All right, now let's.
I'll do this one.
The final.
I'll do this one. The Football League. I'll do this one. The unofficial finale of the World Football League. Southern Cal beats Hawaii 26-7. Anthony Davis played like Ricky Bell. 109 yards, 2 touchdowns.
And of course, we will get to the official announcement in episode 3. But as Chris mentioned this is the last game played in World Football League history.
It's amazing. Wow. It's amazing to think that they couldn't even just, pause the season. Like, they couldn't even at least crown a champion. Even the XFL at least crowned a champion.
We have, on Monday, October 20th, we have Pennsylvania High School to look at this time, as Wildcats out-hit Johnstown but lose. And let's see if we can zoom in on the picture. Short gain, Vince Skillings of Derry area Trojans sloshes into the Hempfield line for a short yardage as George Tragos falls on the turf while blocking. Hustling up to make the tackle for the Hempfield Spartans are Mark Brandt and John Kirkling. Hempfield won the ball game Saturday. Derry falls to 1-6. Some other games they mention. Let's see. Shutouts in midget football played but Derry drops 2. And we have a picture there. Midgets is not little people. And I don't know if they still call it this. It's usually Pop Warner now. But Scott Haar, or Her, of the Latrobe Midgets Ponies, rushes in to make a tackle against the Hempfield Midgets Sunday afternoon. There was a good hit of that kind to play for Latrobe as the Ponies topped Hempfield 28-14. So a little bit of Pennsylvania high school and Pop Warner football. Okay, did you know? Here's a little trivia from 1975. I'll go ahead and read this. Did you know that you see more plays in a college football game than a pro game on average? The final figure from last season shows the college football games averaged 141 plays per game to an average of 120 for the pros. Some of that, I bet, has to do with the fact that the clock stops on first downs in college and not in the NFL.
College does not have a 2-minute warning.
That true. Can you imagine a major college football team playing an entire season and not scoring a point? Has it happened? Yes. Last time it was the 1923 Villanova Wildcats played 8 games and did not score a single point. And, of course, for those of you who follow my channel might know that Villanova is my wife's favorite college team, so haha.
You wonder why Villanova's a basketball school.
Here's an oddity. 4 National Football League teams now play their home games in towns that have different names than their teams. The Detroit Lions play in Pontiac, Michigan. The Dallas Cowboys in Irving, Texas. The Green Bay Packers play some games in Milwaukee. And the Buffalo Bills play their games in Orchard Park, New York.
Orchard Park Bills just doesn't have the same ring to it.
No, it's going to become a trend until about the 90s when they'll start building stadiums downtown again. We go back to high school in Pennsylvania as Laurel Valley deadlocked Central in a 20-0 romp. Central beats Galatian 20-0. Kiski over the Lions 14-8. Plum beat the Vikings 21-20 or 21-11, and the Jayhawks beat Burrell 26-14. And I'm not sure why they list the nicknames of the school, but instead of the team names. But this is from the Latrobe Bulletin, so it's probably that area's high school for football. The World Football League standings, again, there's no playoffs, so we don't really know how they work, but it's going to go down as Birmingham having the best record in the 1975 World Football League at 9-3.
So your unofficial world. So I guess congratulations to the Birmingham Vulcans.
Yeah, live long and prosper. Or don't live long and prosper. Up in Canada, this is how the playoffs would shake out if they began today. Ottawa and Saskatchewan get the byes. Montreal would host Hamilton. Edmonton would host Winnipeg, and we know that Calgary has been eliminated. BC is also 5-9, so they too probably have now been eliminated. Toronto is holding on with the same record as the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but Hamilton is above them for tiebreakers. So you're telling me there's a chance Toronto could still make the playoffs with only 4 wins.
Imagine they 4-9-1 and they're not eliminated from the Grey Cup.
Remember, the official announcement about the World Football League has not happened, so Birmingham is making some moves as they waived rookie quarterback Leo Gasinyanka, whatever. And New England, New England has signed tackle Dave Ripton, and wide receiver Mel Banker was waived.
Speaking of New England, the Red Sox and Reds will postpone Monday night again. 3 straight days of rain.
Chris, I'm going to let you handle the Monday night game.
Big Blue, Giants versus the Bills. Big Blue shocks Buffalo 17-14. So how did the 13.5-point underdog Giants stun a 4-0 team on the road despite trailing 14-0 and O.J. Simpson running for 126 yards? Well, Craig Morton actually threw enough. He not only outthrew Ferguson, Giants outgained the Bills, but they also had good fortune on this side. The Giants had 9 fumbles but recovered 7 of them. And Buffalo's place kicker left 6 points on the board, thanks to a blocked field goal and inexplicable 19-yard miss.
Raw.
I gotta keep going, guys.
Okay. So we'll leave it there at for the 10 days. We'll start the next one with the standings. I mentioned to the guys earlier to see if they had any other information they wanted to share from the 10 days in October. I came up with this. Births. See if we know any of these names real quick. October 12th, Marion Jones, American athlete. October 14th, Floyd Landis. I know that name. American cyclist. And Shaznay Lewis, English singer. On the 15th, Michel Mazingu Dinze, German Congolese footballer. And October 16th, Jacques Calais, South African cricketer. I don't know any of those names, but you guys have anything you want to share from those 10 days in October?
Lot of turnovers.
Okay, so I know this episode went really late, but we had, again, 2 Saturdays and 2 Sundays to cover. Join us in early November when we'll wrap up October, and, of course, that'll include wrapping up the World Series, Charles.
Weehaw!
So until next time, where's the beef?
Live long and prosper.
Enjoy some Pigskin Glory on Facebook. Follow along for live information.